Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next week to 10 days in today's video. It's going to take us pretty much to the end of July. I think go to the last day of the month with this update. So we're going to be seeing, well, we're seeing a change to cooler, fresher conditions. Still pretty warm, but it has turned cooler compared to what it was yesterday and the day before. We've lost all of the humidity and we've lost the intense violent thunderstorms that we had yesterday. Although there are still showers in the west, those showers probably be a bit more widespread tomorrow as well. But the coming sort of week to 10 days is going to see pressure alternating between high pressure to the south and low pressure to the north. So it's always going to be more unsettled in the north. It will be most settled in the south, but even there, not completely settled. But you see what I mean? There will be some showery bursts coming through. But overall, nothing particularly that dramatic showing up for the next week, 10 days, for the end of July. It looks like it's back to traditional sort of British summer weather with sort of the best weather in the south, the worst weather in the north, and all places getting a little bit of rain at some time or another, but also some dry spells as well. I'll get on with the video in a second. Before I get on with that, just say about our charity fundraiser. So we're into the last 10 days of the charity fundraiser now. Throughout July, we've been raising money for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance. We currently stand at £794.54. We're trying to get to a target of £1,000. Not sure if we're going to be able to do that or not, but it'd certainly be very nice if we could get to £1,000 before the end of the month. So if you want to donate to this, all you have to do is go to our Just Giving page, or you can text it as well. I'll talk about that in a second, but the primary way of doing it is to go to Just Giving page. I'll leave a link to our Just Giving page in the description box at YouTube. There's also links throughout Gasworthy's. Click the link and you'll come to this page, and you'll be greeted by the Gasworthy's logo, of course, and it says Gathering Space, so you know you're on the right page. There's a bit of a write-up there on why we're raising this money. It means a great deal to myself and my family. So to donate, you just click the yellow donate button, and you'll go through to another page where you can put your card details through very safely and securely, and donate whatever you want by Just Giving. May pass the money straight on to the charity. There's no messing about with that one at all. You can also text your donation. You use the code, which is GWVS77, and the amount you would like to donate can be anything from £1 upwards, and you text that to 770, and that will go straight through to the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance as well. The Air Ambulance relies totally on charitable donations. They do not receive any money from the government or the National Health Service via taxation. So without the donations, they can't fly. Basically, everything from the helicopter all the way down to the smallest plasters and wound pads has to be paid for by your donations. If you don't donate to the Air Ambulance, then they won't be able to fly. So big thanks to everybody that's donated so far. I've had 50 donations so far, and if you enjoy what we do at Gasworthy's, we provide our services completely free of charge, with videos or written posts, Terry Scotty, everything at website is free of charge and going to be staying that way. We just get our money from the ads. So if you enjoy what we do, I just ask that you make a little donation to this charity. That means so much to us. It costs £1,700 to save one person's life to do a mission. So it costs quite a bit of money, and we are doing something very special, I think, here for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance, and big thank you to everybody for doing that. Right, we'll start off with the centering temperature from Hadley for July. So provisionally, we currently stand at 16.7, which is an anomaly of around 0.8 degrees above average. That's provisional to yesterday, to the 20th. I was actually expecting this to be a bit higher than that. I was quite surprised. I've not looked at this for a few days, but I thought the heat had been so extensive over the past couple of days that this would have pushed things up over 17 degrees. But actually, we're just around 16.7. We are a bit above average, but not a great deviation. And if anything, I would suspect that's going to hover around there, maybe even ticking down a little bit through to the end of the month. I'm not sure. There's no sign of any more big heat surges coming up in the foreseeable future anyway. These are 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts. We've got the E70F on the top, and the GFS on bottom. This is from the PSU website in America, Penn State University. So we've got the trough of low pressure indicated by the blue curves for the next week to 10 days to the north of Scotland. Ridging is close to Greenland, a bit of northern blocking actually, with jet stream doing something a bit like that. So it looks rather unsettled, that one, and I would suggest fairly coolish as well, especially in the north. They've got a bit of ridging around the Bay of Biscay, so for the south it should give us some protection, but overall that does look quite changeable there, and not great for the final sort of week to 10 days of July. The GFS, that was New Zealand doing of course. GFS is very similar, again, trough of low pressure centred to the north of Scotland, jet stream coming through the country, a bit like that. It looks relatively changeable as we're going through to the end of July. Now, not going to be a deluge. The GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles the next 2 weeks show that with temperatures, we're going to be close to average. You get a bit of a tick up there. That's at the start of next week. But overall, close to average temperatures, doing something a bit like that. Again, no sign of any extensive heat waves coming up there. And no sign of anything desperately cold either, or cool. But just close to average with the temperatures. Not much sign of very wet conditions either. This is the precipitation part of the chart down here. There are some spikes coming through. But again, fairly dryish. Just a few showery bursts of rain. Then down southeast. This is for London. Let's see if Manchester is looking any wetter. You will probably suspect in this weather pattern that Manchester would be a little bit wetter. That's gone wrong. So let's go back and have another look. I should have got the Manchester ensemble ready before I started. So I'll just try and put Manchester in again. I think that's it. And you can see that the Manchester ensemble is quite a lot wetter than the London ensemble. More precipitation spikes coming through there. So this is telling us that it's a northwest-southeast split, really, with the weather in terms of precipitation. Anyway, looks quite wet, actually, that for the northwest, around Manchester. Down across London, of course, it's nowhere near as wet. So, northwest-southeast split in terms of precipitation. Temperature anomalies, they come out very close to average from 21st to 29th of July. A bit above average, still in the south, a bit below average, perhaps, for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Precipitation, that looks close to average in the north and west. So, Scotland, Northern Ireland, presumably northwest England, comes out close to average. Elsewhere, looks a little bit drier than average. Here's the generic charts. And for Monday, we've got low pressure to the north of Scotland, probably bringing some sort of a front down across the country. I suspect that's quite weak as it gets into the south, but should be a bit more active in the north. We go through to Tuesday, again, showers in the north, mainly dry weather in the south. And then through to the middle part of next week, this is Thursday the 28th, so a week away, we start to build in a little bit of a ridge to the south ahead of this area of low pressures out in the Atlantic. That moves into the country over Friday the 29th. By the time you get through into the last weekend of July, this Saturday 30th, low pressure is taking over here. It's turning significantly more unsettled. We finish up on day 10 looking like this. This is Sunday 31st of July, when we've got an unusually deep area of low pressure centred over the country, 995 millibars. Probably gales in the north rolling around that low pressure, and bouts of rain moving through as well. I think that's a bit over the top. I think that's a bit overdone. But it does look as though, as we're going to the end of July, it's probably turning more unsettled. EWF for the start of next week shows low pressure to the north, so gently unsettled up there. Mainly dry, I would have thought, in the south. Through to middle of next week, there's some sort of trough coming through to the north. That could be bringing showers or longer spells of rain to the northern part of the country. The south is close to relatively high pressure, so not too bad there. And then through to the second half of next week, things turning generally more unsettled from the north and west. So this is a trend within the GFS and the ECM that the second half of next week probably turns increasingly unsettled, with rain driving further southwards and eastwards, albeit the wettest conditions still remaining in the north and west. But I would have thought by the end of next week, all parts are turning quite unsettled. And that takes into this last weekend of July, Saturday 30th, Sunday 31st of July, which is day 10, where low pressure has firmly taken over the weather. Notice there's some ridging around Greenland and Iceland, and then there's this trough underneath it. So with jet streams probably going something a bit like that. It places us within a trough, within the 500 millibar flow. So that's going to be quite an unsettled end to July there, with showers along the spells of rain. And having a quick look at the upper air temperatures to see what they're doing, they look like they're turning increasingly cool from the north, though there is some heat across the continent. So it looks like we're going to be, well, there's no sign of a return to the heat that we've had over the past couple of days. That's gone and doesn't look like it's coming back this side of the end of the month. It looks like we're going to have changeable conditions through next week. The south probably not too bad for the early and middle part of the week. The north more unsettled right from the word go. And I think between the GFS and the ECM, there's probably a trend later on next week, then into that last weekend of July, to move those increasingly unsettled conditions down across the country from the north and west. So we may end July on quite a cool and quite an unsettled note, albeit I think that day 10 GFS chart have that storm to the north of Scotland. It's probably a bit over the top. That's it for now. We'll be doing JMA Friday tomorrow, having a look at the month-ahead look ahead with the JMA and CFS V2 models. That's all now. Don't forget to donate to the Warwickshire Northamptonshire Air Ambulance if you haven't already done so. That's all now. Thanks for watching.